I greet you all once again, my wonderful viewers and followers. I welcome you all to our today's class. As you can see before us, we have this very diagram here with this inscription, which says that the figure, as you can see here, is a quadrant of a circle with rectangle measuring 7 centimeter by 3 centimeter. Calculate the radius of the circle where this quadrant emanates from. Then find the area of the shaded portion. So the area of this portion here, excluding this what? Rectangle that you can see inside. Okay. So how do you go about this? Now let me break it down before we go into the summary. Now, if you have a circle like this, okay, and you divide the circle into two equal parts, each part is known as a what? A semi-what? Circle, right? Because it's being divided by what? A straight line, known as what? A what? Diameter, right? Now, if it happens that our circle divide into further equal parts, 4 equal parts, each of these parts here correspond to what we refer to as a what? A quadrant, okay? Now, when you divide the circle into 4 equal parts, each part is like this, okay? In this form, the word a quadrant, and this quadrant is termed a word a sector. Okay, so this can also be taken as a word a sector. Are we together? Okay, so don't be that as it's made. If you are asked to find the area of this, we can find it in terms of what? The area of a word a sector. That is for this. Okay, but if you are given it in terms of the circle itself, and you are told to just find the area of this quadrant. The area of this quadrant can be taken as the area of a circle, which is pi r squared divided by what? 4. Okay. Divide the area of a circle by 4. That gives us the area of this word quadrant. Okay. Now, but considering what we are asked to do here, we are asked to find the very what area of this shaded word part. First of all, we need to know the radius of this word circle. How do we find the area of this very word circle? Now, to find the area of this circle, okay, it's very simple. So how do we go about it? What you just need to do here is to bring out this very rectangle that we have here. We can have this rectangle like this, okay? The rectangle is dimension 7 centimeter by what? 3 centimeter, okay? Now, if you notice, the length from here to here is a what? Is the radius. Likewise, the length from here to here is the radius, okay? And from this point here where this angle 90 is inclined, okay, any line from here touching any part of this circumference, okay, this curved part, is still the same length as this, okay. So that means if I draw a diagonal like this from here to that very point, is the same as the what? Radius. So drawing a diagonal like this, okay, gives us our what? Our radius. So in that case, bringing out this a section of this out like this, we're going to have a what? A right angle or triangle, which here is our what? Radius. And here is our 7 centimeter, while here is what? 3 centimeter. So by what we have here now, we can apply what we refer to as Pythagoras theorem, which states that the square of the hypotenuse, which is the longest side among these 3 sides in this triangle, is equal to the sum of the square of the opposite side and the what? Adjacent what? Side. So I'm going to have this as what? R squared equals to what? 7 squared plus what? 3 what? Squared, okay? Now, 7 squared is what? 49. And 3 squared is what? 9. So adding 49 plus 9, that will give us what? 50 what? 8. So centimeter was squared. Our aim is to find the value of R, okay? So our R becomes what? Square root of 58 centimeter squared. Now, if you check the square root of 58 using your calculator, you are going to have that as what? As 7.61577, and so on and so forth. So, if you approximate it to 2 decimal places, you are going to have this as 7.6162, okay, centimeters. So that means that the radius of this circle that we got this very quadrant from is given as what? 7.62 what? Centimeters. So the first part of the equation is already what? Solved, which is find the radius of that what? Circle. Now we are moving to the second part. Second part says the area of the shaded what? Part. Okay. To find the area of this shaded part is very simple. There are two things here. We need to remove this very rectangle here. So to remove this rectangle is occupying a space, and that space that is occupying is known as what? Area. So we need to know the area of this rectangle. Once you obtain the area of that very rectangle, then you also obtain the area of this what? Quadrant or sector, depending on how the case may be. So if you find the area of this sector, okay, we'll subtract the area of the rectangle from it, and that gives us the area of this other remaining what part, which is the shaded what part. Okay, this area can be solved in two ways. One of the ways you can find the area is by using the formula for calculating area of a what of a sector. Okay, which you know the area of a sector is given as what? Theta over 360 times what? By r what squared, right? And the angle theta is a right angle, which is what? 90 degrees, right? So having that as this, that will be equal to 90 all over 360 multiplied by what? Pi. You can take pi as 22 over what? 7 times the radius we have is what? 7.62 centimeters. So everything will be what? Squared, okay? But the formula here says was squared. So totaling that out, we're going to be having, just go straight and multiply that out. We're going to have 90, okay, 90 multiplied by 22, then multiplied by 7.62, okay, 7.62 times 7.62, okay. So that will give us a total of 11496.7.512 centimeters squared divided by 360 multiplied by 7. That will give us 2,520. So if you divide this by 2520 divided by 2520, so that will be giving us 45.62 centimeter squared, 45.6 centimeters squared. So that is the area of the whole of this sector, including this rectangle that we can see inside. So everything in total now, area is 45.62 centimeters. Now, if you don't want to find the area in this order, you can as well find the area using the formula for area of a circle, which is pi r squared. Like in this order, you can choose to solve it like this. Okay, we are still going to arrive at the matter, which is pi r squared divided by what? 4. Remember, this is a what? A quadrant, okay? So if you solve it that way, this will become 22 over 7 times what? Our radius is 7.62 centimeter. Everything is what? Squared. Then divide all by what? 4. Okay? Now, how do you go about that? Everything here divided by 4. Sorry, this is just the formula. So I'm going to multiply everything out here. I'm going to have this as 7.62. The square of 7.62, okay? 7.62 squared, okay? Then multiply by 22. That gives us, we have this as 1277.4168, okay? Now, we're going to divide it by what? 7. And everything divided by what? By 4, okay? So let's divide it by 7. I'm going to have this divided by 7, and that gives us 182.488, okay? Then divided by 4, okay? So if you go for that to divide it by 4, we arrive at what? 45.62 centimeter squared. You can see we got the same answer as what we had initially. So having this as 45.6, it tells you that if you find the area using the sector formula, area of a sector formula, or you find the area using the area of a sector divided by 4, we are going to arrive at the same answer. Now, be that as it may, our next point now is to find the area of this rectangle. So what is the area of a rectangle? The area of a rectangle is what? Length times what? Breadth. So we have this as what? Our length is 7 centimeters times our breadth is 3 centimeters. And that gives us 21 centimeters squared, okay? So the area of this shaded part now will now be equal to what? Area of shaded part, okay, will now be equal to area of the sector, which we got as 45.62 centimeters squared, okay? 45.62 45.62 minus 21, okay? And that will give us 45.62 minus 21. So we have that as 24.62 centimeters squared, and that is the area of this shaded part. You can see how simple it is, okay? Mathematics is very, very interesting. If you take your time to it, you arrive at your final answer. Take away that spirit of faith, and you see yourself enjoying and cruising with mathematics. So we'd love to see you in our next video. Thank you for watching. Do well to follow so that when we make a new video, you'll be notified, okay? Thank you. Bye-bye. Do have a blessed day.